Hey, I'm in the middle of putting this together, and I just wanted to show you something that, in case you didn't know it and you own one of these lathes, this is the bit that holds this carriage assembly against the ways, and there are shims underneath of it, or there should be, so that if you do have wear in the carriage, in the ways themselves, I guess, and if this thing is feeling sloppy, then that may be a remedy that you could pursue, is to try taking one of these shims out. There are 4 shims here right now. I didn't thickness measure them, and I've already oiled them up, so I don't want to take them apart and do that. I should have done that. But just something, as long as I had it apart, I thought I'd show. Hey y'all, I wanted to show you something real quick. See if we can get it to focus here. Just cleaning with the solvent or whatever does not completely get everything. I don't know if it's focusing well enough. You tell a difference here. That's one where I've actually taken my, screwdriver that's already a beater anyway, so what the heck, and really gotten all the crud out. Because what happens is you get chips impacted in there, and it's hiding underneath the grease, and so I think it's well worth the while. Say you get one of these lathes. I've only messed with Atlas stuff, but like even for my 10-inch, I didn't do a complete rebuild on the thing. I didn't paint it or anything like that, but I did take the carriage apart and take the half nut apart. I think that's worthwhile maintenance every once in a while to get these threads clear, to help preserve your drive screw. So that's what you want. You don't want to leave them like this. Some of that stuff that's down in there is actually chips. So I want to just sit there, and I can do this through the camera, but just basically every once in a while you run into a spot where it'll be like really tough, and you'll find out, oh, I just picked out a chip. So worth doing, I say. I thought some of y'all might be interested in seeing how a half nut goes together, how it works, if you haven't taken one apart before. So these are your jaws. And they're captured in this collar. And they get caught in these slots, and you can envision how this works. See? Voila. That's how you grab your drive screw. As I said earlier, if you get an old lathe, even if you're not going to do some kind of big tear down on it, I would recommend you just go ahead and pop the carriage off and clean that gunk out. I think it's probably, with one of these lathes, a periodic maintenance issue, although I haven't done mine in 2 years since I did it when I first bought it. My 10-inch one I'm talking about. I want to show you all a pretty cool tool. Some of y'all will know exactly what this is, but I have to admit, I inherited this from my dad, and it sat around in the drawer for a long time. I don't know how long before I figured out what it was. I was just playing with it. You can see it's got the little offset, and it's spring-loaded. One day I finally had the epiphany that it would do this. It is awesome for dealing with little teeny screws that you got to get somewhere. This is the little detent ball. There's a ball down in there, and then I put the spring in. So now this guy goes right on top. And if you have, whoops, beautiful. What I was going to say, if you have a screw that actually comes up flush, this one is not bottomed out, it's got a ways to go. But anyway, what happens is you can actually turn this and it will reset itself, and you can pull it off and grab your next screw, stick it on, and move on if you have an assembly. So it's really cool. I've never seen one of those at a garage sale or anything like that. I don't even see a maker's name on it, but I highly recommend them. They come in really, really handy. I've got like 3 or 4 of them of different lengths, and I wouldn't let go of any of them. I had a little interruption in the lathe cleaning project, but it is a lathe-related endeavor that interrupted me. Boss was throwing out a treadmill, and I've had in mind trying to hook up a treadmill motor to this lathe. So I believe this motor works too. I mean, I know it works to some extent. We'll find out how well it works continuously. What was happening with him was it would work fine if his wife used it for walking. If he used it for running, say at 7 miles per hour or whatever, he could run a half a mile and then it would trip his breaker. So I'm not an electronics genius. I'm hoping that means just something mechanical or something in the controls here rather than something in the motor itself. If you guys have any knowledge that would inform that diagnosis, please pass it along. Very interested. But meantime, there's some other cool things here. This is the drive motor for that would give you elevation on the treadmill. Can you see that? Is that in the frame? Yeah. So that has a lot of possibilities. I mean, I don't know how much thrust force it gives you. Is it enough for a press? That could make a neat project of some kind. A machine jack, maybe? I don't know. Acme threads. It's also got, here's the controls, and I think I've got a pretty good idea how I'm going to put it all back together. I know the fellow over in Australia that goes by Xanadu, or which I guess is short for Xanadu. He talks about these cast iron flywheels as being great resources to make backing plates or for chucks. So that's a nice piece to come out of it. Oops, sorry about it. And a couple of nice rollers, which I can use as rollers, or if I get rid of the roller part, pretty darn nice shaft running through. Nice piece of steel on both ends. So good thing either way. So I'm kind of happy with that. Like I said, I think that was a justifiable diversion from working on the lathe tonight. That's what I did instead. So that's the chuck about to go into the evaporust. Alright, here we go. This is after about 3 hours sitting in the evaporust. Let's see what we got going on here. one of the jaws. Yeah, so I think the evaporos has done as much as it's going to do with that. So now it's down to manual cleaning, but that took a whole lot that took all the rust off of it. All right. This is the dial. I don't know if I gave a good shot of that before putting it in. Is that in the frame? Move this over a little bit. But that was really cruddy before. I think with this thing, after cleaning it, I'll probably try the buffing wheel out on it. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Alright, before I get too crazy with cleaning it, I want to get everything out of here because you're supposed to rinse it with fresh water when you take it out of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that stage as quickly as possible here. Pretty good. One more jaw down here somewhere. Oops. Not going to deal with that. There we go. Yeah, it's going to come out looking real nice. Alright, the tricky part to get out of here will be the main body. That's not so bad. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, this is why it's tricky, is because it has to come out pretty much. Pretty much like this. I maybe should have thought this through a little better. Okay, let me make it. Yes! Yes! Aha! Alright. So probably being in there a little while longer would take some more off. And I see a couple spots still up here. I mean, they're coming off with, yeah, come off pretty easy. By and large, that looks really good compared to what it was. Oh yeah. Alright, Need to get it all rinsed off with fresh water. And anxious to get some lube down in here before I go working it. And from here on out it'll be traditional cleaning, but look at that. I mean, compare that to the original shot. That's outstanding. See that real well? That's after just, I'd say about 3 hours in the evaporust. That's going to come out looking really nice. I almost want to put it back in just for that spot right there. Actually, that almost looks like that's some paint. Yeah, that was some dried grease or paint or something. So no, it's not going to go back in. Yep, I'm going to go rinse it out. Looks good. So that's the chuck about to go into the evaporust. Okay, according to the instructions, you're supposed to, you can tell when this stuff is reaching its capacity when it turns black. So that's pretty black. There was a lot of rust on this fella here. Looks like I haven't yet gotten all the water out of it either. But look at that. Yeah, I'm going to hit it with some solvent just to dry it out, so that I can then put some lube into it. But yeah, that's a respectable looking chuck now. Very, very happy with that. And even though this has turned black, I'm going to, this is going to go in here after I degrease it. So we'll see how much more use we can get out of that little bit. And I've still got most of that gallon jug still up in the cabinet, so I got plenty of it to finish this project. Good stuff. Evaporust. So if you watch Mr. Pete, then you probably heard him say he doesn't paint machines anymore. And this is my first experiences of taking a lathe down, completely painting it, putting it back together. And I kind of see where he's coming from now. And this is a prime example. This piece is all clean, ready to go back on. But wait, there's a couple of little painted surfaces there and there. So before I can put this back together, I'm going to have to tape all this. It's going to be a pain in the butt just to get that little bit of paint on there. I don't think I will ever paint one again either. I think I do believe in tearing them down, cleaning, lubricating, reassembling, but I think that would look fine just with the original paint a little cleaned up. I don't think I'll ever do this again, but I'm so far down the rabbit hole, I'm going to finish. Well, there you go. What a pain in the butt. You know what I think I'm going to do next time? Brush paint. In fact, I might go get some before I get this next piece prepped and ready. Pretty sure I can get colors to match what I've been spraying, and I think with a little artist brush, you can probably get that really well, and that would be a lot less tedious than this process. So see how that works. Quick look see at how well the 3-jaw does. That's 3/1000. I don't know how good this piece of stock is. That's about as smooth as I had just laying around. I don't know. I don't know how good to expect. Alright guys, here's where we are right now. Got the chuck cleaned up, or one of the chucks. I still have the 4-jaw that's going to need some cleaning up. But the main thing, this has taken a while. All these little pieces here for the carriage assembly finally done. Everything works really well. So, only issues I'm going to have with this lathe that I can't just, fix. 2 broken handles. This handle that's, like I said, it's epoxy repaired. And then my 1 gear back here that I'm just running right now. It was chewed up. I just filed it. It's got enough teeth to run, but, it's not. Anyway, otherwise, the other thing, the challenge is coming up as soon as I get done with the tailstock. The tailstock is also missing the clamp, but I got every other part of it. And this guy's bent, so that's something that I'm, when I do that, I'll be having my fingers crossed, because I definitely see the possibility of it breaking when I try to bend it back. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's where we are. I'm really, really happy with where it is so far. Everything works just the way it should work. Feels good. Feels tight. That's the whole table shaking. Nothing in here. I got the Gibbs adjusted. Everything works. Really good.